Okay.
Yeah, that rocks. It's actually, yeah, it's a pretty unique device. It's actually just for streaming online. It's dedicated only to that. Cool. So you can stream on multi-platforms. Hey everybody, MagNFT here, probably recognize me, those that are following us. We're live in Montreal right now actually. We got 5 people in this room. We'll be doing a little bit of everything. As you can see right here, there you go guys. We got a full room right here. We're going to be presenting. We have an issue though. This screen was supposed to be my helper and display everything we're going to do today. I actually had tested it and now it's giving me problems. So it might be just an oral presentation, but at the same time, if you guys follow on your Twitter, because most of the names I'm going to give you are on Twitter, okay? Because Twitter is one of the biggest things. So let's go back to this camera right over here. So thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks everybody also that is joining. So hi guys, my name is MagNFT. Welcome to the meetup. Thank you for joining. So we already had a little chat before we started to who are you guys and what do you know of NFTs. I'm really happy to know that you don't know much. This is why we do meetups. That's why I've been doing meetups. I've been doing meetups, guys, here at the WeWork office since 2017, actually. Then the COVID, unfortunately hit us, and we had to stop the meetups. We used to be doing meetups with the Bitcoin embassy and Bitcoin community, and I actually departed from the Bitcoin community back in 2019. 2017 is when I started questioning myself about the blockchain between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I am fully devoted now onto the Ethereum blockchain, being on non-fungible tokens, which we also know being a contract, being ERC, what we call ERC 721s and ERC 1155s. To give you an idea before I start on what are NFTs, I'll talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. So we're actually a physical magazine. So we started off back in 2019, November of 2019. So at that time, NFT art was emerging. Now, NFT art didn't start in 2019, guys. NFT art started off really early, even under the Bitcoin community. We have older projects that are well known today that are like punks, punks were established by a company called Lava Labs, and these punks were minted, right? So they were created back in 2017. So. But art itself started getting a lot of traction. We have big artists. Names that come to mind are for example, Josie Bellini. So Josie Bellini is a female artist out of Chicago. She's actually been involved with the Bitcoin community since the early stages, before there was the actual technology and availability for her to utilize the blockchain as a medium, anyways, for her art. When it starts, when we get platforms like Super Rare. Now today, we have platforms that help artists create their contract. You gotta understand, you guys, if you already know about the blockchain, is that everybody says that you have full ownership of whatever contract you have. Now NFT is a little different because here you gotta create a contract. If you're an artist and you got a piece of art, you need to transform that art or that digital or physical art, but mostly digital, that digital art into a contract. Because that's what the Ethereum blockchain is all about. And to create that contract, unfortunately, if you're not a developer, there's no really reason, apart if you're like a really major artist, to build your own ecosystem. You want to utilize platforms that will, what we call mint, so create a contract for you, and then utilize that platform at the same time as a marketplace. One thing that most minting platforms have, 95% of them, is a marketplace at the same time, right? So if you go to Super Rare, for example, and you're a creator, you can mint your creation on Super Rare, you can sell them, and you can purchase other people's art also on the ecosystem of Super Rare alone without ever leaving that platform. The biggest marketplace in Ethereum is without a doubt OpenSea. OpenSea is actually what we call, it's almost like, think about it, when you think crypto, you think open ledger, right? OpenSea is almost an open ledger for the NFT, because you can check out what contract have been created, and that's okay, and stuff like that. OpenSea also doesn't only do the Ethereum blockchain. They also does a second layer, which is called Polygon, and also is starting to adopt also the Tezos blockchain. So soon, you'll be able to also utilize another blockchain on OpenSea. That in itself is a big innovation, because you as a user you don't want to start thinking, okay, what blockchain am I at? Am I at Tezos? Am I at, like you were saying, on Cardano? Am I? So OpenSea being only, because at the first market, OpenSea was only a marketplace. Now you can make your own contracts on OpenSea, but they focus mainly not on that. They focus mainly on the marketplace. So the ability then to utilize and to cross-chain, right, between Tezos and Ethereum is pretty exciting on the adoption side. MagNFT, of course, we have our magazine. I'll take it right out so everybody can see it here, but most of the people that follow us, of course, do know my magazine really well. So we actually started doing these, and when we started doing these, it was mainly for artists. Why? Because there was still no utility behind the NFTs, right? So NFTs was mostly utilized to create contract to display some type of media. Let it be GIFs, let it be JPEGs, right? Or let it be MP4s, but there were still limitations at that time when we're starting in the size. Size was very limited what we could admit. The other thing also is that people need to understand is that can you put a picture on the blockchain? For example, can I mint a contract? Where is that picture, right? When we create that contract, most of the NFTs we buy, the contract is, all the metadata is on chain, but the actual JPEG or PIN, whatever media, is actually hosted on what we call IFPS. So that is actually hosted outside the blockchain. But there are projects that have this, like punks. What makes a punk so valuable? You must have heard that punks are going for 1.2 million, 300,000, they're going for big numbers. Why? Because it's a 8-bit JPEG. So being only 8-bit, they had the ability to put everything, all the metadata, including the actual JPEG, into the blockchain. So the actual JPEG is within the contract. Contrary to when you're doing with Super Rare, or if you're minting on NFT Gateway, the actual JPEG or the actual picture is actually hosted on an outside server that is called by the contract. So when you view your contract, it says, okay, so this contract is associated to this IFPS, and make the connection together. So that gives you an idea a little bit about the ecosystem. So when we started in art, the reason why is that art was the only form that NFTs were utilized at that time back in 2019. Another artist I like to bring up, guys, is Trevor Jones. Here's what's amazing about this artist. This is a British established traditional artist. Trevor Jones is a Canadian based in Britain, but now living in Spain. This guy actually kind of pushed the traditional art a long time ago before the blockchain, and he started utilizing digital QR codes, right? QR codes. Yeah, QR codes into his digital art, okay, into his physical canvas. So every canvas he had, he would always have that, QR code right there. And he believed that one day something on the internet will allow him to utilize it in such a way that it would empower his media. He hated the establishment, he hated what, so he went kind of digital, and so all his canvas in those times, only digital, even though they were physical canvas. When blockchain comes, you can imagine this guy goes, he's one of the precursors to actually jump into this venue, right? He's going, oh my God. And this is where success stories come. Trevor Jones turned his financial life anyways around because he utilized this medium, and being already somebody with an immersed talent, right, already recognized on the traditional market, was able to utilize the blockchain and to finally, get rewarded financially for hard work, and also the belief that he had that one day digital currency would overtake, and him, what he hated the most, and what most artists hate, is that middleman. Galleries charge up to, guys, I'm serious, up to 65%. Okay, the traditional on galleries is 40%. That's the standard. When you're buying a piece of art, 40% of that is going boom to the gallery, right? So you can imagine, it's weird also is that it's the only industry, there's no royalties. Music, royalties. Film, royalties. Everything has royalties except the oldest form of art never had royalties. So the other guy, I'll give you the example, is Lawrence Lee. Lawrence Lee, Texas. You guys, I'm sure. When he showed me his art, even me, Canadian and French Québécois, you know, vraiment Québécois, when I saw him, I said, oh, I know this. The famous Indians that we see from Texas, you know, those famous, that's Lawrence Lee. Very well known. 72 years old. Guy is bankrupt. Goes on Super Earth, starts minting. He comes back to me, and we started talking, and I got to know this guy. It's unreal that he's saying finally, you don't understand, is that me, my paintings, I don't know where they are. I don't know how many hands they actually crossed. I read the newspaper, the local newspaper, and find out my painting was sold for $45,000 with nothing coming back to me. So for him, when he saw the blockchain and saw the utility behind it and the empowerment as a creator to take over ownership of what it is, in a way, right, was unbelievable. And today, you know, of course, he's an older man, he had a little bit more issue utilizing that technology, but he got to it. And today, you know, he's really happy that he has. Last example is Jose Delvo. Jose Delvo was the right-hand man almost of Stan Lee, guys. He's the one that invented Wonder Woman. He drew from DC and Marvel body. He did Batman, Wonder Woman, Transformers. Best of all for me was, he's the guy that did the Yellow Submarine for the Beatles. So the cartoon for that's Jose Delvo. Jose Delvo and Nick, because he's older man, also in his mid-70s, and he deals with his grandson. And his grandson, we're talking, and we were saying to me, he says, his grandfather, imagine this guy, he's the creator of Wonder Woman. He's never made as much money financially in the last year than he did in his entire career. His entire career. It gives you an idea. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, so he's really excited. He's more excited also for his grandkids, right? To be able to delegate also that heritage to them. So basically that's what it was. So now we're going to go to communities, the utility, right? So after art comes along, we actually wrote an article back in May 2019 that discussed how Discord would one day be utilized because of these bots. So bots could interact with the ERC contracts and empower different tools. One of those tools, there was two of them. We worked closely with them, and they're the first bot on Discord that utilized the blockchain was tip.cc. Tip.cc was a tipping bot, and it's still the #1 tipping bot on Discord. So on Discord, if I want, I can tip from me to you, Ether, almost any ERC tokens, and coins, Binance, and all of them. So on Discord itself, I can tip you, all right? And you'll say, where's the wallet? So it's an integrated wallet within Discord on a separate server than Discord by the founder of tip.cc. And they're actually going to try to be EU compliant and to be able to provide you guys with your security key. All I can tell you is that, of course, you don't own, until you withdraw from Discord, it's not technically yours. But I can tell you, I think Obi has utilized it. There's never been anybody that lost crypto because of the founder taking it away from it. And it's very easy to withdraw. All you got to tell the bot is just withdraw to this address, and boom, it's done, and it's gone, and it's into your own personal wallet. Then when tip.cc comes, there's another one called collab.land. What is collab.land? Well, collab.land is responsible for Bored Ape Club. So this is the famous community token. So we got 10,000 NFTs sold in less than an hour, right? And then we got 10,000 NFTs in this ecosystem. And what gives them value? Their utility. So what is utility? Well, the utility is that it gives them the ability on recognizing the contract, all right? A lot of people are doing that, even artists right now. So give you an example on the Bored Apes and an artist. So we got an artist there that I work with called Young and Sick, all right? And they're utilizing the same concept. What are they doing? Because with the bot, I can recognize on Discord one thing. I can ask the bot, can you check if that person holds this specific contract or NFT? And the bot will say, yes, he does. Then empower him with this specific role, and that role provides them privileges in Discord, which are channels that other people can cannot see. Also, what does it give Bored Apes? Well, if I want to make example, 10,000 derivatives as a gift to my holders, well, there's nothing easier for me. All I got to do is make an NFT, make how many people that hold. So in this case, per apes is 10,000, right? So I could make actually a derivative on Polygon, cost me no gas, make 10,000 of them, and then decide to send one to each of the holders, because all I have to go see on the open ledger, on the blockchain, right? I can see who is holding what. So I can send to those specific addresses, whatever I want to give them as a gift. The best way to reward is Young and Sick as an artist. So Young and Sick, these guys are from LA, very well known. They've collaborated with Maroon 5, Machine Art Kelly, so all these guys, very well established in LA. So these guys have been doing NFTs and they've been doing really well. And at one point they wanted to reward their community, so they started, Young started to do on a daily basis 1 NFT per day for 7 days, and then made additions of each 100, because they had 100 holders, and gave away 7 NFTs to each wallet. So you can imagine as you're a collector or somebody you cherish, so the collectors of Young and Sick cherish this person as an artist, receiving these 3 NFT gifts. Now you say, well, does it? Some people ask me, wouldn't that devaluate a little bit the art because there's more NFTs out there, there's more art of this artist? What I can tell you is that no. Because of the influx of people coming into the NFT scene and the demand, knowing this artist already has an establishment in the scene in itself, when these guys actually drop these things, even the very op clubs, you can see on secondary market already sales of, you know, half of these and these. You know, there's the fear of missing out, you know, that goes on within the ecosystem. So that's a little bit about NFTs, guys. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have any questions. You see 4 there's one, but we don't see you guys. You're the only one missing in the camera angle, which rocks. But I don't know if you guys have any questions about NFTs, about art. And most of all, after I'll just do a round table, I want to know what brought you guys here for the NFTs. I'll start there.
Okay, I start?
Yeah, why not?
You want a question or?
Yeah, so what brought you NFTs? So first of all, what got you? Because
okay.
If you're on Meetup and you see NFT, you got to know what it is a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I work in the cryptocurrency ecosystem, so
okay.
Yeah, I work for a startup that's revolving around creators and NFTs. So yeah, it's kind of something that I do. I'm a developer.
That rocks.
Sorry?
That rocks. That's good. So what are you guys up to? So what are you doing? Tell me a little bit more.
I'm trying to, well, personally I'm trying to kind of understand from artist perspective why, how it works for artists, why they go to NFT, why they sell. Because I mean, for me it's hard to understand the utility. Okay. I understand the tech stuff, but not the user utility. So I'm trying to kind of get an understanding of that.
Cool. I'll answer your question. So I was kind of weird that I got into NFTs because growing up, my neighbors were the Coleman. And Coleman is the Coleman Galleries. It's one of the biggest brokers of art in Canada. Here's why. First, I told you, royalties. That's number 2.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Number 3, ownership. Nobody will have to go to a how do you say that?
Notary.
Yeah, I'll say it in French, maison d'authentication, right? So they won't have to go authenticate. Why? The contract states, this is the person that created it, this is the person that owns it. So you won't have to ever worry for fraud, stuff like that, because the contract dictates the provenance. So you have provenance and you have ownership, and you'll always know that. So you'll know where's the provenance being you as the artist, and who right now, unto this day, has ownership of that. The transfer of ownership will provide you that royalty that you're entitled as a creator, by the way. Okay? So those are the 2 aspects. Number 3, connecting with your collectors. You needed at any time and point to do that a third party. You needed a gallery or a physical venue in order to do so. Of course, Facebook and Instagram provided you a new window to be able to interact, but it is not at the same level as communicating and knowing who's the owner of your art. On Facebook, I can tell you, oh, I own your art, but do I really own your art?
Okay.
So what does that also do? That also does two things, that you can always reward the people that do support you, maybe don't own your art because of financial reason, because of other contacts, but support you, right? So those people you could still kind of reward through, let's say, a giveaway. You know, one NFT out of 10,000 people because they support you. But the real holders, those that gave you bread on the table, you can say, hey, it's Christmas, I'm sending you guys a gift. I don't need your address, I don't need your name. I'm going to send it to you, and you know it comes from me because you know the provenance of it. So it gives you that. Also, on a social platform, it gives you that ability also to go on Discord and have a recognition who holds your art. So let's say somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'd like you to do a commission. And then you already see, wait a minute, this guy already bought my art. So you can already know on an operational and logistical side, you don't have to break your head. You already know this guy's a client. You know?
Right.
So.
Makes sense. I guess what I was trying to ask is, let's say you're a regular artist that paints pictures and not digital. How would that help you? How would NFTs help you if you're just painting real paintings?
Okay, so I got somebody right now called Visa. Okay, if you go on Twitter, Visa Art, he's in Dubai right now. So he created an NFT, 12 editions. But those 12 editions are actually canvas, okay? But there's something even more special, is that NFT is tied to not just only that canvas, but to a Tesla car that has been, yes, you got it, that has been painted to the actual NFT, okay? Or the physical canvas. Other example, I'll give you names after. Trevor Jones is the best one. And of course, I'm not an artist myself. I can only provide you arguments on the consultant side. On a more personal and get more also, because here's one thing I will recognize, is that for any creator, it's also a question of comfort, right? The ability to have no limitation in its creativity. And what I can tell you is that I'm hearing from traditional artists that this medium is providing that, even though it's still physical art. So, by the way, so what they're doing, either scanning it or taking a picture, 4K picture, selling it as an NFT, and then shipping the actual NFT, the physical.
Okay, but I still feel it's kind of two separate worlds. I mean, you have the physical painting and the digital NFT, and they can, live separately. You can sell the NFT, but keep the painting. So it's kind of
here's a test.
Detached, and they're detached.
Here's the test that Coleman did about the biggest problem in art is fraud, right? If I had right here 2 Picassos, and between the 2 Picassos, I would put the certificate of authenticity between both of them. And then I would back up and say, okay guys, where does that paper go to? Because I can sell you right now the fake one with that paper. There's 2 of them. So there's the same dilemma. Do you understand? It doesn't solve all the problems. These problems already exist into the traditional market. What it brings you is it solves you, it allows you to open up, like I said, to provenance and also creativity. It also gives you the ability to know, but it won't solve all the problems. But I agree with you though. But at the same time, one day, if ever your art would be worth over, whatever point, that sell point where somebody would want to authenticate it, where you're coming back with the same problem.
If I can add something, is there's I think 1 or 2 companies that work on chips that you're going to be able to put inside the artwork, in the canvas or in the scope. That's gonna, and then with your phone you're going to be able to scan it and know that it's tied to this ID on the blockchain. That there's companies, so it's going to be physically tied by a chip, a tech. But honestly, what I see even more basic than that is that soon people are not going to buy art physically. They're going to buy the NFT and then receive the art from the owner, and they're going to feel safer of getting the NFT from the owner on that wallet and the owner, as soon as he sold you the NFT, he's like, okay, my artwork is worthless because I don't have the NFT that goes with it. I couldn't even sell it to a professional anymore. So it's just natural that he's gonna make the physical piece follow the NFT. You know what I mean?
It's almost now you buy the authenticity paper before the art. You're saying, listen, sell me the seal, sell me the seal of authenticity. Once I get that seal of authenticity, yeah, then.
So if you don't have the seal, it's like you stole it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pointless to make. It's pointless to make a copy, give the wrong copy, and blah blah blah, because you're never gonna sell it for real. You're never gonna make the news with it anymore. Even if you would sell it $2 million, you don't have a certificate, so no newspaper is gonna say, "Hey, congratulations, you make a big sale." You just screw everybody over.
Yeah.
It's like a new way of doing business that need to be implemented.
Here's what I'll tell you all, because I was surprised. One thing, Christie's auction house with people, they came out in March. So MagNFT actually has a very close collaboration with Maker's Place, which was who people have chose to have that auction with Christie's. When Maker's Place come to us, we're media, and says, you won't believe who's coming into the scene, Christie's auction house, like you, and especially knowing a little bit about traditional art, not as much, but being a neighbor, and we went to cocktails in their galleries and everything, I was so surprised and stunned that such a recognizable name as Christie's recognized the technology. Because what are they doing when they're selling people's NFT? They're not just selling an artwork, they're recognizing the technology behind that artwork, right? Yeah, so they must have had a lot more HR than me and a lot more resources to come to determine. I thought it was too early in the game, but there must have been somebody in that boardroom, more than one, that said, we're not early in the game, it's time to recognize it now, and I was surprised. Because I thought we were still about, at least 2 years, before anything like that, anything like that. Because what's the cream of the crop in the, it as an artist, is to be auctioned off by Christie's. So, it's pretty amazing. All right, yeah.
I have a follow-up question to
that
one. Where do you guys see the future of the off-chain interactions that occur associated with the sale of a physical art piece? So, for instance, conversations between the buyer and the seller about like shipping the physical piece of art globally, the conversations around the art passing through customs and duties and various things like being placed on art as it goes between physical borders. It's an open question, so I'm curious to your thoughts.
So I don't have that technical answer, but from what I've gathered from the Josie Bellini, from the Trevor Jones, I actually have physical pieces that these guys are shipping. He's the one that made the famous Mech Cafe with the gun like this there. He's the one, he's the artist behind that. Or the Bitcoin Bull, the famous Bull Bitcoin, he's the one that made those. And he made those in real canvas, right? They were made physically in real canvas. From what I can say for him, so listen, if you're selling a piece of artwork at half an ETH, okay, which is about the average of a traditional recognized artist that comes out and says, listen, here's my portfolio. I've never minted before, but here's my portfolio. If he mints and he's got a portfolio, you can average around 0.5, 0.7 in your entry point on super rare. Half an ETH is roughly right now around 2 grand Canadian. It covers your cost too. You know what I mean? It's part of your cost. He takes it within his cost, right, off the sell. And from what I heard, there hasn't been that many issues, no issues that I've heard for the...
Yeah, so it's basically a gentleman's agreement. And reputation.
Okay, so yeah, totally agree with you. So on that point, a reputation, absolutely. But at the same time, would you buy a piece of art that is on the traditional market also? You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't buy from somebody that have no clue, except if you're paying $5. Right now, you're supporting a local artist, right? But if you're going to invest something that has, like, say, $1 grand, where you're thinking, okay, then of course, the chances are you most likely will hear it, like any business, right? But once he's burned his name, forget about it. Because I'll tell you something, in this ecosystem, if you burn somebody, there's no coming back.
Yeah, I agree in terms of the parallels between traditional art and the new form of art that we're seeing now. I'm only just challenging the notion of everything on the blockchain being self-contained.
Totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. But I also, look, 2 years ago, right, never would have imagined that I'd be myself having a virtual, I have a Oculus or whatever, and I'm walking in virtual worlds and going shopping at crypto voxels and enjoying myself. And by the way, guys, if you ever wonder what I did before, I bought my first Bitcoin in March 2016. I was a agriculture and carrots. All right, so it gives you an idea. I was not a computer guy. You know, we had a little bit of computers down on the farm, but even there, we were still a traditional shop. And I never thought 2 years ago, look at CryptoVoxels, how it blew up. Look at metaverses like Decentraland. We were talking Mana. We were talking Decentraland in 2017. Remember, Mana was a token people were investing in on the financial side, not on the utility. People were talking, I remember when I didn't even know about utility, hearing about Mana, you know? And look at today, Decentraland is a beautiful metaverse. CryptoVoxel has more traction right now, I can tell you by numbers. CryptoVoxel has more traction, but look at Decentraland, and the other one is Sandbox, right? We got 3 virtual worlds. This as an artist, though, I didn't bring up because I didn't have my unfortunately display, but I'm going to bring to you. Here's what's beautiful. As a creator artist, you can then actually have your own physical gallery within a metaverse. And I'll be honest, so as a content creator, it might not be as appealing, but as a collector, dude, the experience is unbelievable. The collectors who appreciating, like the biggest collectors, wealth. Okay, so Well Shark is one of the biggest ones. Belarus, Moderates, Crypto 888. These are big collectors that are known in the ecosystem. What do they all have, Pranksy? What do they all have in common? They own a lot of parcels in these virtual lands to display their art. So it tells you that the true collectors of this community and this industry will not only invest in art, they will invest in real estate, in metaverses to display that art.
Yeah, new channels for sales.
Yeah, new medium of socializing and interacting.
I remember paying $300 for my parcel on CryptoVoxel. Today a parcel is minimum $3,000, $4 grand, minimum, if not higher.
I got my $10 and
for how much?
$50.
$50. Well, look, if I'm not a gamer, so I couldn't talk to you guys if I know nothing about gaming. Yeah, farmer and everything.
Well, I was surprised when you said like that it was like crypto art and then profile picture, because like my first NFT investment was Axie Infinity, which is a game.
And he's big.
For sure, like in 2018, like it could be discarded, right? This was a quick game, you know, like start battle and then the battle is automatic and it's all browser based. But now we have like 3 years later, there's a game, there's people gaming, they introduced it like in-game assets, which are like tokens that you farm by playing, you know, like, and I played a lot of other games, like, and it, like, for me, even before art, like the first real like utility that like people saw into NFTs was like, okay, yeah, so like, instead of buying like League of Legends skins, and then they stay stuck in your account, I could have an NFT that represents my skin, and then when I'm tired of playing the game, you can get rid of your things, you know. Like, the fact of owning, like for a gamer, it's just natural. Like, you tell them, okay, so now your items in the game are gonna really be yours in your wallet, your digital wallet, and they just understand, like.
And it opens up the market. I've never bought a PlayStation. I've never bought a PlayStation game. I flip NFT games.
Yeah.
So so can you imagine? Here's are the names though. So are there any big names right now in the ecosystem of the NFT gaming? So Axie is just a project, and the guy behind it, the founder, which is, yeah.
It's like,
But many there's no way. But Atari is in the NFT scene.
yeah.
EA Games is in the NFT scene. And these are not just rumors. Atari is with a lot of projects. They're with
The
Walking Dead. They're with Zed Run.
Yeah.
Look what they did with Zed Run.
And
Zed Run, guys, is amazing. It's a horse racing.
Yeah.
Zed.Run. So horsing, and this is in the NFT scene. Okay, if you want to see something where the metaverse is included with the game and everything, you can own your own horse. You can race that horse. You can display that horse in a virtual reality on the right here on the table. It's pretty amazing. You know, the names that are in the NFT scenes right now is, you know, it's unbelievable. There's so many names. Look how many celebrity are coming in, right? Celebrity-wise, it's just name after names now. Hockey. Montreal Canadiens are doing NFTs, guys.
All right.
They are. So they stopped, if I'm correct, I tried to get one. Impossible. It was impossible to get one. There was only 250 of them. Like the biggest edition was 500, dude. I must have lost, I think, around $200 in yads because I couldn't get one. It was impossible to get.
Wow.
But anyways, just to give you an idea, Montreal Canadiens are in the game. You know, NBA Top Shot. You guys ever heard of NBA Top Shot?
Yeah.
Look at that. I'll tell you a story about NBA Top Shot since we're live because a lot of people, and if ever somebody listens. NBA Top Shot's not even out yet. We're talking about a year and a half ago. I get an email. Carolina from NBA Top Shot at NBA Top Shot. I got the email. She says, listen, we're coming out with an NFT. It's going to be NBA players, you know. And there's one or two spelling mistakes, and I'm not English myself, and I noticed them, and I went, hey, yeah, right. NBA. Yeah, right, you know. Spam. Wow, what a mistake that was. So I went to check my spam, and she had wrote to me about 4 emails. She really wanted us to feature in the magazine because we had readers that was, you know, that time. She was willing to give me 5 Genesis, you know, open packs, and today the Pranksy and the Well Sharks that we know. I talked to these guys. They gave it to me. They said you didn't even buy it when it came out. I said, dude, no. And look at today, they're worth $250,000 or something like that. It's unreal. But missed opportunities are like also a lesson learned also in the ecosystem, like anything else. So,
you learn a lot about accepting your choices.
No, now I don't feel bad. I actually asked them, okay, can I just see, yeah. Like best example, like I got communicated about 2 weeks ago, a guy that says, hey, I work for Val Kilmer. Yeah, okay. Like, you know, like how many views, you know, but yeah. So actually MagNFT, you guys, if you want to know, you can follow us on Twitter under MagNFT. So we're actually, I was fortunate enough to speak with Val. He's going to be part of the project. He's coming out with what is called Val Camp. If you haven't seen his documentary, there's a reason I'm looking because I know you're an artist. If you haven't seen a documentary, he's a John Malkovich. I never thought Val Kilmer was a talent recognizable within his art form, but once you see his documentary, you'll see another, and he's actually also like most.
What is it about?
It's actually about his life, but not about his movies. It's not about his movies. Of course, he talks about his roles, right? One of them was Batman. Like, I'm not a movie guy, but I learned something about, because I watched Batman, it's true, you know, like he was saying like, you know, people were criticizing me. What you don't understand is when you see the video, is that he had to keep the suit on for 14 hours. Nothing. He had no earpiece, nothing. You couldn't hear nothing. So he spent 18 hours completely deaf. When somebody would tell him his line, he couldn't hear nothing. So he had to go on prompt. Second of all, you see it, because this guy, by the way, Sean Penn, he's one of the first one to ever have a camcorder. And he's filming all the guys in Saturday Night Live, and even you see Sean Penn going, is that a camcorder? That's so cool. So Val was one of them, and you can see, it's a really nice documentary because you get to learn. The suit he wore for Batman, you see it because the guy, he couldn't move. So every time they, like example, when he had to turn in the movie, there's people that are stuck down that are helping him to move because he couldn't move. He would fall. He was saying, I would fall 12 to 15 times a day, fall down because it was so thick. So he said that, you know how he came to do that role? He took it as a soap opera. So that's how he acted. He says the only technique I could use that I never thought I would ever utilize is that I utilize it as the technique of soap operas. Because soap operas is a lot about lips. Because sometimes they don't even have a script, you know, the soap operas. They go on, okay, cut, that's good. Like, you know, yeah, I'll take that. You know, and he was saying that's basically what it was. And it's a beautiful story. I'm not a bit, like, there's names people throw me that I don't know. I'm working with George Lopez, so supposedly very famous Spanish comedian down in the States, as you can see. So I didn't know who he was. We're working with them. So, but yeah.
Well, what do you guys do? Like, how do you work with that?
Consulting. So yeah, basically just making sure, number one, the problem with this ecosystem, dude, is that the problem right now is that there's a lot of influencers, like anything in social media, and unfortunately these social influencers don't take the best interest of these projects long term, okay? So all they want to do is make a quick buck, or sell, do that seller. Now influencers are good for these 10,000. You know, when you have 10,000, a project that has 10,000, I think an influencer in this case is a good marketing strategy. But for an artist like yourself,
I'm not an artist.
well, okay, well, meaning an artist itself, like an artist himself, unfortunately, he's seeing the ecosystem and seeing all these projects and all these artists and all these influencers saying, okay, I'm going to go with influencers. When, okay, no, whoa, you got a long career ahead of you, you know? So start slow. And the other thing I always tell people, if it's busy right now, it's got to stay busy in 4 months because this is a new technology. The influx of new adopters has to keep growing for the next several years. So you're still early in the game. Because in 3 months, the influx of adopters is not, if there's no growth, we're all dead, right? We're all dead. So if an artist comes into the scene, like Young Insect, for example, right? They came in, they wanted a big Discord server right away. They came to us. And I told them, no, there's somebody that was named Lovely that did that mistake. Well, LA artist, well recognized, has like 1.2 million followers on TikTok, whatever. Just this Discord server that has 2 main channels. Operationally, the logistical side was impossible. And unfortunately, his NFT never, it showed, right? Where if you start off a little slower, right? But of course, Luvelli, adapted and learned, and now today he's like doing amazing big projects now, right? But I try to, in our consultants, to make life easier and just not make the mistakes that some do in the ecosystem. And we built a lot of servers, Discord servers, for artists. I'll tell you that 60% of it is Discord management, so logistical and operational side of the server. Yeah. Because your Discord server is your life, in this case, right now. There's other tools that will come there.
No, it's like the hub of your project.
Exactly. Now, will it evolve? Absolutely. But for now, yeah, Discord is unfortunate.
Can you walk the audience through what's involved with running a Discord server?
Wow.
And what is the experience like as well from a user perspective?
So exactly that. If you let your Discord there's many facets to a Discord server. There's a security issue, all right? Anybody that's in your server can DM another member. That's where you get most of your spam. So guys, when you get spam, join this Discord server, the first thing you should do, and a lot of people don't know that, just look up, you'll see shared server. You'll find out what server allowed that member to unsolicitate you with these DMs. So you need a server that has a good team. You need a good moderator teams. If you want a really good server, guys, discord.gg is the website, /NFT, that's the invite. The server is called Token Smart. Token Smart is this. It's networking, a community. There's no artists, me, Jimmy, it's all the OGs that got together, and a guy named Jimmy that owns one of the biggest NFT companies in the metaverse right now. You know Lava Labs? Well, NFT 42 is, Jimmy was part of the 50 in the Forbes 50 NFT influencers. Jimmy, which owns the founder of NFT 42, which is the founder of Token Smart Server. Tokens are over what, 10,000 members? Yeah, 10 or 12,000 members on that Discord server. That's one of them. It's to ensure a good moderating. Start small. You don't need a lot of channels. You got to tell yourself that if you have, for minimum, let's say for, when I go into a server, you don't want a channel to be dead on a 24-hour span. Meaning if there's a channel that has no activity in a 24-hour span, there's no utility for it except if it's a special event. You want to concentrate all your members in one channel. You don't want to spread your members. What are you trying to do when you do a Discord? You're trying to gather all your members. And then you gather all your members in your server and you decide to make up 50 channels. So you're almost like just funneling them, right? Like going like this and then spreading it out like that. Or you know what, no, you want to create, and, oh yeah, but I got this project. Fine, talk in general. I'll make traction. Everybody knows where to go. Don't have to also try to look into, you understand? And as time goes, and as your server, as the market demands, you just follow the markets like anything else. Once the demand is there, then you create new channels accordingly to what is your need for your community. But don't try, when you open a server, maximum 5 channels. General channel, bot channel, a share channel, you need one. Don't try to tell people not to share their content, you'll never succeed. Create a channel, yeah. And in that channel, what's important in the description, you put a disclaimer. Do your own research for anything here, we're not responsible for anything that is published there. And you strictly apply that if somebody posts anything that is outside, you gotta be strict.
So kind of like Reddit, but more direct.
It could, I'll be honest with you, the people that deal with me know one thing. Like he'll tell you I'm very friendly because I work with him on a regular basis, we're partners, he knows me. But it happened 3 days ago, Young and Sick comes, why did you kick out this collector? He must have done something. Yeah, he's a collector. Oh, I don't care. Me for the server, I don't care. He's a collector, a member, I don't care. And then we look, especially the guy he had shared somebody else's art in the general channel, and boom, I kicked him. I didn't ban him, but I kicked him. Meaning he could return to the server right away. So when I kicked him, gave him a warning, don't share any content. He came to me, and that's some artists and some people will say, and I was clients for this, believe me. They'll say, well, no, he's a collector, you should, no. I myself, I'm an OG on Token Smart. And I'm a moderator, and one time I gave somebody, there's a new guest that comes, he didn't know much, so I manually verified him. And the other mods found out, and they came to me, yeah, but guys, and it's true, they were right. Apply the rules, everybody the same, no matter who they are. That's also essential in your Discord. You gotta be fair with everybody, same rule for everybody. Even if you're a collector, even if you spend $12,000 or you spend $0. If you're in this Discord, you're not here because you're a collector, you're here because you want to interact. And if you're to share somebody else's art, well, that's not the space to do.
Does it cost much to run a server on Discord?
No, I would say to start, it would cost you probably to start off everything, meaning somebody's with you for a whole month. Because it takes a month there, to tweak here and there. It takes roughly about 500 US. Yeah.
Per month?
No, then you actually will scale down and you will build your own community. So you would take, for me as a consulting firm, depending what your needs, I'd spend about a month with you, but then we would build your team. So we would build your crew of moderators. Yeah, exactly.
Members.
So, but that's my job. So I have, because I've been in the scene, I know what to look for. I know the kind of comments I'm looking for. I know what kind of interaction. Example, Young and Sick is a pretty new server I'm in. We've been with them for 3 months, I'd say right now. And I just upgraded 2 new mods, and there was 2, so now they're up to 4. And these mods did not know them, they did not know them, but these are people that got into this server, and from their actions, their participation, got to, got a good feeling. And maybe one out of, I think I had one bad experience where I had one mod that unfortunately went rogue there, but didn't do any damage basically. But unfortunately, wasn't as polite as he should have been to a female counterpart too. So that upset me even more. But apart of that, yeah, you can see it in Discord. You see these people that are really passionate for what you're creating. You know what I mean? Like the mods on Young and Sick cost almost nothing. They cost no monetary. Young and Sick gives them an NFT. Yeah, one NFT. I got paid. Me with Young and Sick started off with, like he said, $500 with, and then was, well, I want an NFT. Why? Because the NFT is worth 1.5 to ETH. Now, of course, they're a little upset because they're artists. They don't like giving their art to somebody that's going to flip it. That's the last thing an artist wants to do. But unfortunately, that's how the ecosystem works right now.
Yeah. Can you explain the concept of minting? I always hear that when it comes to it.
Minting is creating a contract.
Minting is the operation of recording on blockchain. You can mint like a normal token like a ERC20 or an artwork, but at the moment where you record a token, it's the mint.
Because whenever I see an NFT for sale, for example, there's a new collection coming out and I see, okay, this amount of numbers or NFTs were minted. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? So like, there is a limited number of this type of collectible.
Yeah, that we just recorded on blockchain.
Gotcha.
There's a technical side. I'm not going to give you the technical, but I'm going to give you NFT for dummies. Mint is creating a contract. Every time you mint something, you're creating a contract.
Yep.
Now, listen, here's the technical, and I'll make it simple. If it's a one-on-one, then it's a mint. One mint, one contract.
Yeah.
The reason they use mint is that if I decide to create a contract, but with 25 editions, right? Then it's a little more technical. So you're creating one main contract that will then have
that will mint
that will
the
have,
contract.
exactly.
Because that's the thing, like in blockchain, when you create contracts, like you have your address, like a wallet as an address, but contracts as address too. So a contract can be like an entity in itself and create other contracts, like mint other tokens. So
But basically that's what an NFT, guys. So why non-fungible? What does that mean? If I have one Bitcoin and you have one Bitcoin and we press send at the same time, I send you my Bitcoin, you send me my Bitcoin, we get the same fucking thing. But let's say you choose one piece of one NFT and I choose one NFT and we send it, well, it's not the same thing. It's two different pieces of art, right? So that's what the non-fungible is. And when we say non-fungible, when you're creating or doing a contract on an Ethereum blockchain, you'll see it. You'll see your wallet, let's say, is OX1, starts with OX1. You'll see OX1 created a contract that is this new contract number now. And that new contract, OX2, is the NFT. So OX1, you created a contract named OX2, and OX2 is whatever content it is there. Madame?
Okay. I feel like I'm the only one who is not on the technical side.
That's okay, me neither.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So yeah, like I'm going to be with you, like with your carrots. I'm fishing on OpenSea. So like I'm doing offers and like so right now what I want to do, like I want to become a creator.
Okay.
But like just like and you like everything is really interesting for me because like you're answering like a lot of my questions.
Thank you.
But on the other side, like I don't have like a background in like working in galleries, for example, with real art, like with canvas and everything. And what I see right now with Discord and everything is like I really need like a team to succeed like on this market. So like it's mostly about like how to promote myself and like how to moderate, how to have these channels and how to organize like I don't know with online gallery.
Yeah.
So like, it's just like I'm getting information and then trying to understand like I understand it's never too late like to come to this market.
Yeah.
But on the other side, like I feel that I really need like a lot of money and like a huge team to become.
So here's where, and good. I want you to make sure grab the stickers, follow me on Twitter, contact me. I'm gonna get you going on a few things.
Okay.
Are you a creator yourself?
I want to become like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting this
And what would be the medium you would use?
Okay.
What would you do? You would do digital art?
Digital.
Digital art. Okay, cool. So let's say you do digital art. Here's another thing, guys. I'm gonna tell you what's big right now, okay? Young and Sick is making digital art, but as a non-profit organization. Right now, the biggest one we just did was one for the Palestinians. So the community got behind an NFT artist that promised to send 65% of the sales to a Palestine foundation, right? And it was done, he did it. Of course, he's right, he could have ran away with the money, but everything went well. There's another aspect also too. If you have something at art, and since you're new into becoming a creator, you could also utilize that to say, at the same time, I got something at heart that I want to give back. So, do you understand?
Yeah.
That would be an option. You don't need technical. OpenSea is like Facebook.
Yeah, I know, like it's 15 seconds. Like,
It's 15 seconds, it's like Facebook, it's upload a picture, give it a
I
title.
understand, like it's the easiest part. Like,
Cool.
Yeah.
Then you need people like me, where I don't charge you anything to promote you. Okay? What is promoting? I got 12,000 Twitter followers. It costs me nothing, it doesn't waste my time, and if I don't want to support you, of course, I retweet your tweet, you get, that's a good start, right? Then I say, hey, I got a podcast on Sundays called Sunday's Confession. We get about 200 listeners. You want to be my guest? Boom, you come on my podcast.
No, I understand how it works.
That's
Like, yeah, it's one
Yeah.
time I'm on Instagram. I understand it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
To have this networking. Yeah, I understand.
And I'll invite you, and no fee. I'll tell you right now, no fee. I will. If you start making art on OpenSea, you have an OpenSea store, right? Yeah, I'll start you off. Now, of course, not having a traditional button, you don't have a background, of course, is a barrier. But is it a barrier right now to stop you to say I should not endeavor myself? Absolutely not. I agree with you. There are so many new emerging artists utilizing NFT to become financial artists.
Yeah, even before like a Discord and a server and everything, like me, what I always say is like, you have to set up a beautiful Twitter and prove, like, it's stupid to say, but like prove you're human. Like if you look like a cash machine or like just there to make flip your NFTs and that's it. But as soon as like you go in and comment on other collectors' tweets and everything, you make friends. Like I have Xavier Magaldi, he's a real artist. He sells like $8,000 sculpture in Europe and everything. And he was in our server, and I was like, be on Twitter, like answer comment, and now he's super friend with like Swiss Crypto Cat. That's a big like Bitcoin holder that's starting to be interested in NFTs. But like when you get those human interaction on Twitter, you start to build a core, and then from that you can grow. And when you see that you have like 10 real people from the space that hold your creation, even if it's Mike Master with a GIF you made him, another like Swiss Crypto Cafe, you have an NFT in his metaverse and things like that. There you have references. You don't need, like, you build trust, because NFTs is trust based. Yeah. Even if it's on blockchain and blah blah blah, like if people don't trust you, they're not gonna make.
Well, yeah, because you need to trust that that's the artist that did it, right? That it's not infringement, it's not fraud. You didn't take a picture, everything.
And even just like trust that it's not a cash grab.
Yeah.
It's like right now. Like,
well, new artists. You know what's the first? So I go on Clubhouse a lot, and the first thing artists tell me is that, what's the first thing you would give me as an opinion? Like the traditional market, build a portfolio. You need to provide your collectors that you're going to keep creating. If you put only 5 NFTs there, and you put a price on those 5, and you wait like this, well, like the traditional market, nothing's going to happen. But if the guy sees a piece of art, he's got 5, oh, there's 5 right now, oh, okay. Then comes back a week later, oh, look at this, there's 8 of them right now. And then he comes back a week later, oh, there's 12, oh, fuck it, I'm buying. Do you understand? Because he knows there's going to be a consistency to his art. I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm going to start the recording because we've been going for still about an hour, 15 minutes. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the live. This was a test run, so we haven't done Meetup since. I missed this, guys. I love this. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so happy. Meetup.
Girl, we used to do this right here with like 60 people, and we used to be a team of 5 actually, and it was a big goddamn thing, and I used to love it. I love interacting with people. I love also, answering questions, making people learn more about the blockchain. I always tell people, just read about it. Don't need to invest, don't need to buy anything, just read about it. That's the best way to get a good idea and make your own assessment. So I'm going to stay with these guys. MagMaster logging off. Thanks everybody for viewing. I'm going to be back at the office to check out this everything looked. Let's hope that it was pretty good quality. And that's it. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys Sunday on the Token Smart server for Sunday's confession. Make sure to tune in, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll go a little bit, we'll overview a little bit what happened today and what I did before, and share pictures and everything. So good night, good evening guys, and I know my wife is supposedly watching right now. I saw a message from her. Love you babe, I'll be home later on this evening. Take care guys, cheers.